Hi guys, and welcome to another one of my vlogs. Now today I'm going to be talking about an issue that affects so many people and their confidence, something that you wouldn't think would still be an issue at this time in or this day and age in society. So from my little corner I'm going to try and shed some light on it, and I'll do so unapologetically. And I also want your suggestions, your comments, what you feel on this. Now I just want to point out that this is not going to be a war on different races. No, no, no. That's not what I'm about. So if your comments or suggestions are not productive, enlightening, edifying, or are racist in nature, you know where the door is. Just last week I was invited to a youth retreat where we discussed some issues that affected young people today. Stuff like that. And after the session I was speaking to a young lady who said she felt kind of ugly because she was black and wished that she was different because it was affecting her a lot. She didn't feel as though she could really speak to anyone about it because no one would really understand. If I said I wasn't shocked by what I was hearing, I would be lying. Because I never really had anyone say anything like that to me before. Now that conversation that I had with her immediately jolted my memory back to a time when I received a heartbreaking message from someone on Google Plus who had been following my journey for a while. And she asked me how she could love her dark skin and if I had had any problems with my complexion. And although I didn't, and I never have had a problem with being dark-skinned, and I don't have the desire to change my complexion, I could relate to what she was saying because I knew what it felt like to have a part of you that you don't like so bad you would do anything to change it. I don't know much about her background or how she came about disliking her complexion. There's always an underlying issue. But what I do know is there are several other people out there going through the same thing that these young ladies are going through. And please note, although you may say, okay, this is only a small minority of people of color that actually feel like this towards themselves, for me, a small minority is a minority too many. Now these incidences were further exemplified when I came across an article on Facebook about black people, and for me this was the tipping point. I didn't want to give too much mind to what I had read on Facebook because I have my views on the media and I know a lot of what they put out there is simply for the reaction. In fact, most of it is biased and in a lot of cases it's far from the truth. Anyhow, I went on to read some of the comments below that article and I came across one alluding to the fact that most black women are just not that attractive. And it said, just look at Serena Williams, her physique and her muscular tone was down to the fact that she was a woman of colour. I was thinking, how can this be down to the fact that she's black, not the fact that she so happens to be a sportswoman? Anyway, the comment kind of ended with the sentence that people don't really want to admit it because they don't want to come across as being shallow or offensive. That was my reaction basically, and please hear me out. I hear the whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of that. The point that can so easily be overlooked is the fact that the person was basically saying the reason she looked the way she looked was because she was black. The reason she lacked beauty or she wasn't that attractive was down to her race, was down to the colour of her skin. Obviously you can tell a lot about the person that wrote this, and keeping this vlog family friendly, basically they're ignorant and simply spewing out verbal diarrhea. Nonetheless, what was written got me thinking, if someone thought like this, how many other people did as well? And why did they think like this? Why was there a specific expectation as to how her body ought to look like? Why was she perceived as less desirable just because of her race and her assets? And I use the word assets intentionally because I feel anything naturally God-given on our bodies should be viewed as a positive, not a negative. I've wasted enough of my past doing the exact opposite, so I know what I'm talking about now. What I really want to focus on, and I feel compelled to raise awareness to, is the fact that young people are still feeling insecure regarding the colour of their skin or their skin tone. Now, if we're going to be totally honest, a lot of people think that the darker you are, the least attractive you become. An opinion that is one of the most self-detracting ideas rooted in today's society, where we see one person as inherently more beautiful than another just because of the colour of their skin. It's time that this negative perception that is so prevalent is addressed and not brushed under the carpet as a non-essential topic, because it is important, and anything to do with enlightening and empowering people is vital. Black is hardly ever portrayed as beautiful or desirable, and rather it has like a negative connotation attached to it. So the bottom line, for generations it's been inbuilt in the mind of an average person that if you don't have near Caucasian features or tones, features that are portrayed everywhere, not only in the West but all around the world, then you're simply not measuring up to the standard of what beauty is, or what beauty is made out to be, because it's basically a cause and effect in motion. So you get the Chinese woman doing everything she can to maintain a near paper white complexion because pale skin is to die for. You have the South Asian mother telling her child not to play out in the sun because they might get darker, and then you get the Afro-Caribbean person bleaching their skin to attain a lighter hue of black. Here's a point we should ponder on. There are far too many people of different shades on this planet for there to be just one standard of beauty. And this discussion needs to be had by all, because little can be accomplished by oneself. Collective joint effort is always best, and unity is what brings about great progress. It's high time we stopped focusing on our differences and start looking at things that we share in common, instead of making issues out of the little differences. We celebrate and appreciate each other or ourselves. So if you feel one way about me addressing an issue affecting the black community and feel that I'm biased, obviously because I'm black myself, oh well, it's going to be a shame, or would be a shame, if you miss my point or not try to understand what I'm saying or the message that I'm trying to get across just because of who's delivering it. Having said that, and somewhat paradoxical, I don't want to get caught up in the media are to blame, the West have influenced the rest of the world, because even though they play a majority or a big role in this, and it's a shame that very young impressionable youth are their targets, a lot of their targets, focusing on blaming the media will not solve the problem. I repeat, it will not solve the problem. Now, this is where I'm going to get controversial, because ultimately I feel we're responsible for our own lives. Let me explain. We need to decide, or you need to decide, not to let or allow what the media is putting out there to influence you. What you see, what you hear, what you expose yourself to, all plays a major and important role in how you see yourself. Who you surround yourself with is also important, but the key word that I'm trying to bring out is the word you, because it falls down to you choosing what to believe. It's a choice of how you view yourself. Every day you're going to be bombarded with images of what you're supposedly meant to look like. And you need to make that choice regardless of what you see and hear of who you are. Basically, you need to know who you are. And I believe a certain level of self-awareness is necessary lest you fall for anything that's just laid in front of you. And far too many people are ignorant of that truth. I feel that truth, that you know that you're uniquely made in God's image and likeness. So rather than measuring yourself up against the world standards, you see yourself in His light and up with His standards. Now, a lot of people want things to change, especially how black people are portrayed in the media, and I for one am for that. And there are a number of wonderful examples out there, including celebrities who are putting their inspiring stories for people to see of how they overcame various insecurities. I feel a lot more people of influence need to stand up and stand out for what's right, to create an even bigger voice that will become a lot louder and prominent in society, breaking through the barriers, so that the slow changes that we're starting to see will be, or progressively become, more effective. But hypothetically speaking, if nothing was to change and things remain the same as they always have been, my question to you is, are you going to live the rest of your life not being who you're meant to be, or not doing what you're capable of doing, just because you don't quite fit, or you don't quite tick the box, or you don't quite look the part? Don't spend time, or don't spend a minute longer worrying about how you're perceived. And remember, everything is a matter of perspective. Now you saw exactly the same picture from different perspectives with the sunglasses on and with it off, and the sunglasses tainted the beautiful view that you were seeing, even though it was the same image or same picture. Now a lot of people are out there wearing sunglasses. They can't see your beauty for what it is, but don't trip, you just keep blooming. And for those of you that are wearing the shades, maybe it's time you took them off and simply appreciated the beauty that's surrounding you. Don't let something you're using to protect yourself taint your view of reality. Well, black is just not my preference, and I don't think it ever will be. You may not be able to control what people say or how they feel about you, but you can always control your reaction and how you feel about yourself. So regardless of what the world is shouting out there, you know who you are. And even though the context of this song is different from what I'm talking about, I think the chorus of Rachel Kerr's song, I Will Love Me, clearly depicts what I'm trying to get across. You need to be loving you regardless of what anyone else thinks about you. The way I see things now is, if God loves you so much, it's almost insulting not to love yourself. You were created a specific way for a reason. And if you begin to hate that reason, it's almost defeating the purpose for why you were made. And it kind of squashes what makes you different from everyone else. You're burying your unique. My advice, regardless of what you hear or have heard, your skin color is fine, the gap between your teeth is perfect, your broader than usual nose is okay, your fuller lips are luscious, and if you so happen to be blessed with curves, then work it, because some of us over here want that stuff. None of these assets, including your hair, your personal style, none of them define who you truly are, your truly inner man. Everything external is fleeting. So embrace it, embrace your features, embrace your tone, and like Coco Chanel said, beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. Let that sink in. If only I came to that realization a lot sooner. You're looking at things from the wrong perspective, and you have the opportunity to change things around for yourself. And I know this is going to be hard for those of you that are going through some issues, accepting yourself, because everything people say to you just sounds like noise, but I'm going to say this till I'm blue. Why? Because one, I don't think it's said enough, you're not hearing enough of this, and two, the more you say it, the more you begin to believe it. So regardless of how you currently feel about yourself, you need to tell yourself that you're beautiful. Y'all know my story. For years I hated different aspects of my body until I came to the light of loving me just the way I am. And I can stand naked in front of a mirror and not hate what I'm seeing, but appreciate my body. Don't let a negative mindset drain every ounce of confidence out of you, because the more you feed it, the bigger it becomes. We're designed to reproduce, and if what you're producing is not good, then it's bad, baby, and nothing but toxic for you. So as a man thinketh, so is he. In conclusion, to answer my initial question, is black really beautiful? Yes, it is. Of course it is. And I'm going to repeat it because I don't think it's heard enough. Black is beautiful. Now, this does not deny the fact that beauty can be found in every other race, regardless of whether you're white, brown, yellow, pink, red, or even blue, because we have some avatars among us. Oh, yes, we do. So to all my beautiful ladies and men, hold your heads up high and don't let the shade of your skin dictate what you can get out of this life, or who you can be, or how you feel about yourself. If other people don't appreciate you and can't look past the color of your skin to who you truly are, that's their problem, it's not yours. Don't let their problem become your issue. Remember, beauty is more than skin deep. So I'm going to leave it there for now, guys, and if you know anyone that needs to hear what I've said, please feel free to share it with them. And if you disagree with anything that I've said as well, leave your comments below. I'm open to discussion. Until next time, guys, remember, you are beautiful and it's one step at a time to becoming confident. Bye for now. Obviously, you can tell a lot about that person that wrote this from the offset, and keeping this vlog family flip thinking that you're ugly, ugly, ugly.